Welcome back to the channel, everyone. In today's video, I want to go over how to do the Lua exploit using our Artemis game. As you guys can see in the background, I was finally able to get my compatible game for the Lua exploit, which was Issho. And I did a test this morning and everything was working perfectly fine. It was fairly simple and easy to do, and it was very simple and easy to set up. And I want to share with you guys how you can do this on your end if you happen to pick up a jailbroken console on 5.x going all the way up to 10.40. So the process is fairly simple, fairly easy. I did my test on 5.10 because that's my system software on my console, and everything was easy breezy, no issues, no problem. I'm going to show you guys where I got my game from and where you can pick up your game from as well. And I'm also going to provide you guys with all of the necessary files to do the jailbreak. So it's a one-stop shop as far as everything that you need in order to start the process. As you can see in the background, this is the Lua loader. There's a list of games here that you need to get using a compatible Artemis game. And they have 12 games that you can choose from. However, I would recommend for you guys to just get Issho. Issho is one of those games where it auto loads the save once you actually start the game, and that's why I bought it. So as soon as I press the game on the XMB screen, it'll start the game, and then right after the game starts, it starts doing the jailbreak for me, and that is what I would recommend for you guys to get. There are other games that you can get as well, and as you guys can see in the background, this is a few. And I got my game from Aibeya. As you can see right now, most of the games are back in stock. When I went to make this purchase about 4 weeks ago, most of these games were sold out and it was on back order, but I had to wait until June to get the game. After calling customer service, I got the game within 2 days, and that was like, okay, cool, I can now see if this works and do my test. But yes, if you are going to do the Lua exploit and you need an Artemis game, they do have it back in stock on Aibeya for $59.99, which is pretty much a typical PlayStation 4 game. And you could use that on PlayStation 4 or PlayStation 5 to do the jailbreak. If you happen to pick up a PS4 that's brand new, you could do it on there as well. But this is specifically for PlayStation 5 that I tested it on, and everything worked perfectly fine. Now, at this point, what we want to do is pair our USB flash drive with the necessary files in order to trigger the Lua exploit when we run our Artemis game. As you can see in the background, this is what my USB flash drive looks like. And when you go to download the necessary files from the description box, you will get 4 PKG files, 2 EtaHEN plugins, the PS5 Lua loader, and the PS5 game saves that contain the Artemis save, so that when you run your Artemis game, it will automatically trigger jailbreak. At that point, once you download everything and it's on your USB flash drive, you're simply just going to go over to the PlayStation 5, plug in the USB drive to begin the process. Now, at this point, what we want to do is set up our console in order to do the Lua exploit. But before we set it up, I'm going to show you guys real quick that my console is on 5.10. So when I do the test, you know what firmware I tested everything on. Now I'm going to go into system software update and settings, and you need to make sure that these two settings below are turned off so that your console doesn't accidentally update to the latest system software if you put your console in rest mode. Once that's done, then we're going to go to backup and restore. I'm simply just going to go back one screen and then go down a couple of settings and select backup and restore. As you guys can see in the background, I'm going to do it right now. And at this point, you're going to just click on it. Once you click on it, you should see restore your PS5. And then at that point, you're going to click on that. It should detect the file on your USB flash drive. And then after that, it should give you a message, do you want to restore? Now at that point, once you see this message in the background, you need to decide if you want to do the restore and wipe your console back to the factory settings. If you have a brand new PlayStation 5, you don't have to worry about that. If you're doing the Lua exploit, you're gonna simply just press restore, and then what's gonna happen is gonna update your console with the PS5 saves for the Artemis game. And then at that point, it should shut off and turn back on, and you should be at the XMB screen. And then from there, all you need to do is play the Artemis game and start it up. and it should automatically run the Lua exploit. If you run into any situations where once you do the restore and you're back at the X and B screen and you click on your Artemis game and it crashes or it freezes, just simply reboot your console, and then at that point, once it restarts, you can just try again to run the Artemis game, and then it should execute the Lua exploit. So as you guys can see in the background, I'm not gonna press restore, I'm simply just gonna press cancel and go directly and run my Artemis game, which is Issho. As you can see in the background, I am going to start up my Artemis game, Issho, in order to do the Lua exploit. As you guys can see in the background, everything's working perfectly fine, and all I'm going to do is simply wait for all of these messages to disappear and to return back to the X and B screen. And at that point, once all of these messages are cleared, I can simply just go into settings and then check to see if I see the debug settings. So once I have the debug settings up and running, then I can simply go and use the package installer to install the necessary packages to have them on my jailbroken PS5. So as you guys can see in the background, I'm gonna go to settings, I'm scrolling down, my debug settings are there. I could use the package installer, and at this point you're just gonna install the 4 packages that I gave to you guys from the download link, and then from there the last thing we are going to do is use PS5 Loader, and we're gonna add the 2 EtaHEN plugins to our console so that at that point we can use those plugins. And then all we're gonna do is restart the console, and then once it restarts, we're gonna do the actual jailbreak one more time, and then we're gonna check to see if the console was updated and it shows the plugins in EtaHEN. If it does, you are finally done, and that's all you need to do, and your console is jailbroken, and you know all the essential steps in order to set this up and to get everything running. And then every time you need to do the jailbreak, you just simply just go to your game, press on it, and then everything should run automatically and you're good to go. So as you can see in the background, all of my packages were installed, and I'm using PS5 Loader. I'm gonna select root access, and at this point I'm gonna wait for this message to disappear, and then I'm going to add the 2 EtaHEN plugins, and I'm also gonna copy over the PS5 Lua Loader to my data folder. So as you guys can see, I'm gonna select PS5 Lua Loader, and I'm gonna hit triangle on my controller, hit copy, and I'm gonna press circle twice, and then at this point I'm gonna go inside my data folder, press triangle one more time, and I'm gonna hit paste and paste it inside of here, and then I'm gonna hit circle to go back one more time. Once that's done, I did mine in advance, so I'm not gonna do it again. I'm simply just gonna go back a screen, then I'm gonna hit left on my D-pad, I'm gonna scroll to the very bottom, and at this point I'm gonna select the EtaHEN plugin, so the error disabling plugin, just copy that, then you're gonna press circle twice on your controller, then go back inside of your data folder, go to EtaHEN and go inside your plugins, and then you're gonna simply just paste that inside of your EtaHEN plugins, and then you're good to go. As you guys can see in the background, I already did everything, so I don't have to do it again. And then I'm also gonna go back and grab one more plugin. As you guys can see in the background, I'm gonna scroll down, and that's the illusion cheat plugin, and I'm gonna simply copy and paste that back inside of my EtaHEN plugin. And at that point, I'm just gonna quit PS5 Exploder, and I am done. And at that point, like I said, you're just gonna simply restart your console, do the jailbreak one more time. Once the jailbreak is done, you're gonna go inside of your EtaHEN, inside of your debug settings, and there should be a plugin folder, and we're gonna look to see that everything is showing. As you guys can see, I'm quitting everything right now because I copied everything inside of the correct folder. Hit close game, and just go to settings. And remember, I'm not resetting my console, but you would have to reset yours. So just simply go inside of settings, and like I said, go down to your debug settings, and then from debug setting, right, you should be inside of EtaHEN, go to plugins, and from plugins, once you click inside of here, you should see all of the plugins here. Like I said, mine was already done in advance prior to making this video, but for you won't see these until you, like I said, you do the jailbreak one more time, and then once that's done, you're done, everything is complete, everything is set up, and you're good to go. So that is pretty much it for this video, guys. If you have any questions, please leave me a comment. But as always, I thank you guys for watching my video, supporting my channel, and I will get up with you guys later. Peace.